Hello and welcome to Still Here, Bitch, the podcast that explores what queer adults over 50 want and need when it comes to relationships. We'll ask the questions no one else is asking and get the answers straight from the experts. I'm your host, Gerry Walker. I'm the Associate Director of Participant Engagement and Equity at the Los Angeles LGBT Center, Department of Senior Services, and I'm honored to personally welcome you to the SHB family. We're glad you could be here, and I'm so excited to begin this journey with you. For our first episode, I thought long and hard about who I wanted my guests to be. It's a tall order. They had to be dynamic, knowledgeable, fun, interesting, and really be able to set the tone for the podcast and show you what Still Here, Bitch is really gonna be all about. I think we knocked it out the park. Kristi Cecil had a rather interesting road into social work. After a couple of failed attempts in sales, she took on a role with Child Protective Services. From there, she pivoted into homeless services and working with the LGBT+ community. Kristi is a new assistant director at a nonprofit in LA that serves people experiencing homelessness. But before that, for 2.5 years, Kristi was the senior manager of social services at the LA LGBT Center, Department of Senior Services, where she managed a team of senior care specialists responsible for engaging with hundreds of older adult clients, providing them with services such as peer counseling and check-ins, benefits navigation, referrals to housing information, as well as connecting them to other social resources, support groups, and the like. Hi, Kristi.
Hello.
Welcome to Still Here, Bitch. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. It's so great to be here.
So, our next guest is a legend both here in Los Angeles and beyond. May I give you Miss Annetta Daniel? Annetta actually lives on the campus of the LA LGBT Center, and she's been a part of the LGBT community for over 30 years. She's a motivational speaker and a natural orator, and I can vouch for that. She is also a published author. Her first book, which we'll get into a little bit today, is entitled Released, and it is going to be available on Amazon KDP. Miss Annetta, hello.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you both for being here. Let's get into it. Okay, so starting with you, Miss Annetta, I know you have a lot of authentic relationships in your life. What's the one you're most proud of and why?
Well, that would have to be my mother, actually. She is my greatest mentor. She's deceased, but I take her everywhere with me. She is the person that actually poured into me that there was nothing that I couldn't do. And so, again, I can hear her constantly, the things she says to me, motivation, again, always in my corner, always pushing me forward. So my mother, she's that constant voice that I hear. With respect to day-to-day life and how I'm living here in the present, that would have to be me. Like, I am my greatest motivator. I turn off the noise. I don't listen to my haters. I design the life I want. And so I listen very closely to me.
Miss Annetta, when did you learn that was going to be your greatest relationship?
I was actually born in Detroit, Michigan in 59. Mm-hmm. So that was an era of, you're just a little Black girl in the slums of Detroit. And I never saw myself that way. My mother wanted me to learn how to type and all of that. And I was like, well, mother, no, I don't need to learn how to type because I'm going to have a secretary. I'm going to be a corporate lawyer. I always knew that I had a great mind, and I knew, and I love to learn. To this day, learning is like the best thing ever for me. When I'm learning something, I'm the most excited. So again, I've always loved knowledge. And I've always known that I can turn knowledge into money. And so, again, that's why at 65, I'm designing the life that I want. I don't listen to the naysayers. I need new haters because my old one's starting to like me.
I want to bring Kristi in a little bit. Now, Kristi, full transparency, everyone, Kristi and Miss Annetta know each other. They've worked with each other. Kristi, you've known Miss Annetta actually longer than I have. And just listening to what she just said, there's a couple of things, actually, about being her own biggest motivator. In your work, Kristi, when you're dealing with older queer adults in particular, do you find that this is a quality that is quite often around or available in people? Or is it somewhere on the opposite end of that spectrum? What has been your experience?
I think that we can probably already tell Miss Annetta is one in a million. She's a very wonderful, unique person. And I would have to say, in my experience, I wish that more people felt that way about themselves. My experience has been the opposite with working with older adults and actually just kind of people in general in social services. They've not had that type of foundation or have that kind of inner strength, inner knowledge that she has about herself and the things that she is capable of, and she knows them to be true. I don't think that a lot of people, unfortunately, feel that way about themselves. And I think that as people get older, they feel less and less that way about themselves and just think that even the things that they used to be able to do, like, oh, I can't do that anymore. I can't do this anymore. There's a lot of can'ts, it seems like, unfortunately.
So for you and your staff, Kristi, and then I'm going to bring Ms. Annetta back in here to help us out as well. For those who are experiencing these states of mind, if you will, do you know of any interventions that seem to help in those situations?
I don't know if there's one intervention that could help. I think that probably the one that's the most common, that has the most success rate, is just therapy. I think that taking care of your mental health, I think we all think about taking care of our bodies as we get older, but I don't know that we think as much about taking care of our mental health. And I think that I've noticed a positive difference in people that are willing to do that, or that are willing to talk about their mental health or kind of accept support in that realm.
Yeah. Miss Annetta, now, of course, everyone at the center believes that you were born with a red cape. You definitely have that foundation. All of us experience the down times, the low times. What sorts of interventions or therapies or mantras, what do you engage in order to pull yourself back up to your normal?
First, I want to, a big shout out to Kristi, because since I've been at the center, I just love her. She's just wonderful. She's consistent, and she's genuine. She keeps her word. If she says she's going to do something, when she was here at the center, I just think that she gave her all, and she was very, very genuine. And I remember when she came to me and said she was leaving, I was like, I'm glad. She gave me the look like, really? Not quite the response she was looking for. But I was glad, because I know that she's conquered this already. And it's okay to go on and be great. Take that greatness somewhere else. She extended it upon us, wiped us down with a lot of love and salve, and now she needs to go and do that to other people. But back to your question, you're absolutely right. If we play back what I said for the first question, you hear self-esteem. You hear that I've never been the type of person to cower down. However, I am a human being. I cry. I go through everything that everyone else does. I think the difference for me is that I believe everything comes out of the human mind. So nothing is a problem unless you see it as one, because this mind has the ability to work out anything. We just have to let it. but you are looking at someone that is a 3-year breast cancer survivor. I've beat crack. I've come through divorce. I've been through a lot in my life. My partner of 23 years passed away of cancer at home in my arms. So I have scars. I just don't wear them on the outside. And I know that life is short. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. We can't focus on what we don't have, because one thing I make myself do on a daily basis early in the morning is count my blessings. And I recommend anyone do that, because when you count your blessings, you realize how much further ahead you are and how much you still have to give to the world.
I like that. I just want to say you touched on something that I think they talk about a lot in therapy, or at least that I've talked to my therapist a lot about, which is thoughts become things. And so you going back to, well, it's not a problem unless you think it is. I think that there's a lot of weight behind that. And that is a very powerful thing if you can get yourself into the habit of understanding that these thoughts are temporary and they don't necessarily define what's going on. It can really change your perspective, which in turn will change your life, because that's really what it's all about is your own perspective.
It's never one thing, but yes, I do believe that how we think it challenges us and it sustains us.
We'll be right back after this. Mark your calendar for the Los Angeles LGBT Center Gala coming up on Saturday, May 18th. More info to come. Ms. Annetta, you mentioned in your most recent response a couple of significant relationships. And, Still Here, Bitch is a relationships podcast, right? So here we go.
I resemble that remark, in fact. Still here, bitch.
So, regarding relationships, is there anything that you wish someone could have told you about growing older and relationships that you would tell someone now?
Yes. First of all, it's always later than we think. And as I mentioned, I had my partner for 23 years. And she died at 53, which leaves me at 58 to wow. Let's keep it real. Young women replace old women. Women have a shelf life. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. So I would tell my younger self this, or anyone else that's listening, because this culture, this worldly culture, preaches anti-aging, which is silly. I embrace aging. Why? It means I'm still alive. Absolutely. Consider the alternative. Your ass is dead. So, again, perspective is how you look at things, and it's okay to change. And a lot of times, I found that within myself. When you get older, it's harder to make new friendships. When you're young, it's just, hey, how you doing? One thing plays another, then you're hanging out. But when you hit your 50s, it's a little different. However, in knowing that, you know that you have to do certain things to keep yourself in the game. Some fine chick or some handsome man is not going to come knock on my door. You have to make yourself available. You got to get out there. This center offers in a month over 80 recreational events, and people won't engage. They won't get out. We have yoga 3 times a week. I just started, as you know, jujitsu. It's the list is long. So it is very easy to become complacent and woe is me. But I assure you that there's a wholeness within people. The elephant is the same for everybody. And once one person, like myself or Kristi or you or any other bad bitch, is going to come on here and say, hey, listen, I'm still standing. So that means you can too. Ask yourself, what do you want? Because the answers always come with the questions. A lot of times we don't get what we want because we don't even know what we want. Ask yourself the question, what do I want? And if it's I want to date again, then get up, make yourself look nice, go out, present yourself.
You know, I'm over here taking notes. So,
Me too.
so, Kristi, I want to get real with you for a minute. Miss Annetta mentioned, she said, make yourself available. Real talk. So, I mean, we could put up the numbers, you know, about isolation and loneliness that people suffer, even people who are immersed in the culture. You know, people 50 plus who are immersed in the culture, seem to have everything going on, dance card full every night. I know personally, even though that may be the case, we have a significant portion, at least 1/3. I will go on record and say that. I think it's more, but at least 1/3 we know through surveys, recent surveys and whatnot, who still feel alone and without support and without valid chosen family. What do you feel are the biggest factors surrounding people's inability to, quote, make themselves available after a certain age in LGBTQ plus life? I know that's broad, it's a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. It's one of those things I think that can be, parts of it are specific to the LGBTQ plus community. Parts of it are just kind of what Miss Annetta said. This entire culture, society is obsessed with young, anti-aging, and not coming to terms with the fact that our bodies are constantly changing and that we have to accept that. And you can't stop it. And so you have to embrace it. And part of embracing it is, I think, coming to terms with it in a way where you can kind of maintain your confidence. I'm not sure that a lot of people have the mental toughness or fortitude to do that. I think that a lot of people, especially because they're aging now, they're like, oh my gosh, look at my face is all droopy now, or my arms shake when I move. I don't want to go out and be seen. I don't want to, I think that there's just a lot of people feel, I think, really beat down. And I think that part of something that I'm learning now is that you have to be the one to pick yourself up. Kind of like what Miss Annetta has been saying, like she's the one that is making it happen. She's the one talking to herself and telling herself the things that are really like elevating her in a way that she's like, no, I'm going to get out there. And I feel like I have this light, and if you could see Miss Annetta, you would know that she does have that light all the time. And so it is, I'm so glad that you asked that question, because it's something that I've wanted to know about Miss Annetta for a while. Just, how are you maintaining that light? Like it's something that I think about. Sometimes I'm like, well, what would Miss Annetta do? I know she wouldn't sit around feeling sorry for, and I do think that. So I'm really glad that you brought it up. But I think that it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, and the whole mental health aspect of it. And I think that people sometimes can only get to those conclusions, like can only get to the place mentally where Miss Annetta is with therapy, because they are living with an extreme amount of shame, extreme amount of guilt, extreme amount of they've just kind of been beaten down their whole lives and don't know how to lift themselves up. So I think that does play a role in it as well, because you don't want to go out anywhere if you're just feeling.
I agree. With everything that you just said, and look, it's hard out here, y'all. We know. It is just really hard. Then you add in a lifetime of being on the queer spectrum. You may even have had allies and advocates in your family, maybe not. Some of us never have that. Some of us are still, somebody listening to this podcast right now is in the closet.
Mm.
Over 50, over 60. We are in this moment their chosen family. You feel me? You
I
know,
do.
that's how deep this goes. I'm so thankful and so grateful we're talking about these things, but I'm talking about them with people who know, and people who will connect with people who are struggling. So, right here, just giving y'all a shout and saying that before I move on to some more fun stuff. Miss Annetta.
I want to just bring
Oh,
something
yeah.
to the table that I think might help you. We can't lay around licking our wounds because we didn't get this or we didn't get that or we didn't get this or we didn't get that. We have life. We're the only species that does not reach up toward life. If you look out your window, the grass is reaching up. Everything is reaching up. It wants to live. We're the only ones, oh, well, woe is me. I wish I had of this. I wish I had of that. No, just the fact that we're alive, celebrate life. And once you start doing that, you become contagious.
What's that word again? Say that again, Miss Annetta. You become what?
Contagious. You
All
become
right.
contagious. People want some of what you have.
Mm-hmm.
You're that way, Gerry.
Oh,
Kristi is definitely that way.
yes, she
Absolutely.
That's right.
The same with me. We've all spread out now. We've gone in our, but that force is still, that reckoning force that we have is there. And this podcast is going to draw more people to it. Trust me, there's going to be a number of people going to be like, yeah, you know what? This and that old ass ain't the only one got some swag. What? You feel me?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's okay. And this is a great start, Gerry.
Oh, I already see and know the blessing that is this. Like, I am already bathing
It's going
in it.
down.
Trust. I'm
It's
already
going like
there.
popcorn. It's going down like four flat tires.
So thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Annetta. Over 177,000 people in LA County are living with dementia. Alzheimer's LA helps families manage life's daily challenges with Alzheimer's or another dementia. To learn more, visit alzheimersla.org. I'm Gerry Walker, and we're still here, bitch. What do you seek, Miss Annetta, in a partner?
Honesty. Because anything else just gonna piss me off. You understand me? When you live 6+ decades, nah, I can handle the truth. And I know that I'm kind of hard in the paint, but that's just my personality. I've been like that since I've been me. But for a partner, for me, someone that is honest, someone someone that likes me, because someone has to like me. Yeah, they'll, I can pull them, but I want one I can keep. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be someone that is honest, can look me in my eyes and tell me how many times I blink, and know that they can get anything out of me with baby and honey. I don't care what it is. My wife could get anything she wanted out of me if she put honey or baby on it. Honey, will you do? I didn't want to do it, but I'm telling you what, when someone knows how to
y'all heard it here.
Yes. When someone knows how to handle me and I don't even feel I'm being handled. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You said something that when people have asked me about my relationship with my partner of 10 years, you said something just a little bit ago that I have told others when they ask me, what is it? Or they have told me about my own relationship. They said, you know what, Gerry? You and he like each other. You like each other. We know you love each other, but you like each other. And they're so right. That is so true and so real. When you have someone who wants to be next to you, they can be anywhere, but they want to be, and they will be anywhere, but they're thinking about you. I love it. I love that.
And they love me with all your idiosyncrasies.
Oh, all of them.
And so just honest and consistent. That's it for me.
Kristi, sales is very relationship oriented, and you're so good at social work. What do you believe was the difference between the two occupations that made you so successful at social work when sales is also a very relationship oriented occupation?
I think it was the purpose behind it, because I could not get passionate about selling cell phones to people or trying to upsell people on something that maybe they didn't need. And then they've just told me, oh, I'm really struggling. And here I'm coming in. Oh, well, that's okay. You can afford this. I think it's the whole intention behind it. I didn't like getting people to buy into like this product, but I was good at the relationship part. And then I found out that I'm a little better at helping people to buy into themselves a little bit more. It's a very different kind of relationship. I don't do well with surface relationships. I try to be as real as I can be all the time, just because that's really the only way I know how to be. It's harder to do that in sales, but it's much easier in social services. I think that that's what makes me good at it. And that's what I realized. I was like, oh, I really like getting up and going to work, doing this job. Like, I did not like going to work with sales. Oh, it was awful. It's just everything I could do to get out of bed to go to work. But I love coming to work with social services. I love it. I love the people that I meet. I get to meet people like Miss Annetta. Well, not quite like Miss Annetta. I think we all know she's one of a kind. But I get to meet people, and then I get to learn alongside. I think that's also a key. Like, I already kind of knew everything about the product in sales, and this particular field, you learn alongside people. There's been a lot of times where I have learned maybe more from a client or participant than they've been able to get from me. But it's been a nice relationship. And I tell people that. I tell people, hey, I learned this from you, because I think it's very empowering to help people know, like, you've got things to offer. You've helped me, and I'm in this helping field.
Yeah, no, I want to piggyback off of that answer, because you've also worked with non-queer individuals in your social work career. And I just want to ask you if you could give maybe 2 to 3 adjectives or phrases as to how their relationship issues that you've noticed are different from those of LGBTQIA plus individuals.
So a lot of the people that I worked with in Appalachia majority of them are not queer. What I noticed is, I think it's a little bit easier sometimes to ask for help from your family. If you are straight or not on the queer spectrum. I also think that your relationship with your family is a little different. I think that things, I hope, are changing. But I know even when I came out to my parents, like, it's still not okay. So in turn, I don't necessarily go to my parents for a lot of things. And I think that's a difference that I've noticed, is that a lot of times people that identify with our community, they don't want to ask for help or appear to not have it together or to not have someone. And a lot of times they don't have anyone to really turn to. I think something else that happened, something that I struggled with when I was younger, is, substance abuse. Like, I self-medicated. And I think sometimes when you do that, you can burn a lot of bridges, and then it all just kind of folds in on you. So I think that it's a little bit easier still. Unfortunately, I think it's getting better, but I think it's still a little bit easier for people that are straight to maintain those connections with their families, because there's not that underlying, I don't want to say disdain, but the underlying, like, judgment.
Yeah.
In those relationships.
Look, I feel like when we hear of the trials and the tribulations, cue the violence here, everybody. When we hear about the trials and tribulations associated with getting older, 90% of the time, those issues are framed via the lens of the straight person. And I will be the first one here to say that is not necessarily real, because think of all of the layers that entail substance abuse or, disease. Now add the stigma and the other cultural, the social more issues and all of that that come with being such a colorful person as we are on this podcast, and mix all that up into a soup, and it becomes something, I would say, different. It's not like they can't be approached in the same ways, but there are different rhythms, I believe, that work better when you're dealing with someone who has also been traumatized on that end as well. You mentioned, Kristi, about coming out. That made me think of Miss Annetta. Miss Annetta, did you come out to your parents? And if so, how did that go?
Actually, I didn't come out to my parents. I took my girlfriend home.
Of course
Classic.
You did.
Classic Miss
Straight
Annetta.
up. I mean, listen, I knew my parents loved me, and I'm a full-grown woman. I make my own decisions. So I knew that my parents wouldn't disrespect anyone that I brought home. Everybody still had their clothes on. What's the big deal? Grown people don't sneak. That is a trait of a child. When I was in the kitchen for the 300 hours, it was intergenerational. So there were a lot of young people there, which I loved. So one day, I'm leaving a little early. They watch me like a hawk, because that's what they do. By the time I leave, I'm OG, auntie. We loved each other. They loved me and I loved them. So they're seeing me dipping out. And so one of them speaks up and says, Miss Annetta, where are you sneaking off to? I said, I don't sneak nowhere. I'm too old to sneak. I said, I might be doing a little creeping, but I ain't doing no sneaking. You know what I mean? I'm too grown to be sneaking. So in answer to your question, I always knew who I was. And my parents knew who I was. They're my parents. And so they respected that about me. I am going to hold my head up high. I can tell you about some pride, and it didn't come from being gay. It comes from being who you are. Stand up inside of yourself. Because let me tell you something, whether you do that or not, the day is going to come when it's called the one box theory. Ain't nobody going to be in that box but you. You have to decide for yourself. This is who I am, and I'm all right with me. When you take on the premise that I'm all right with me, people follow your lead. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy, your neighbor, your boss. Make yourself valuable. I tell this to anybody. Make yourself valuable. Life is changing so fast. It's a complex, competitive world. You better focus on what's really important. Who cares if somebody don't like your get down? If it don't put no food in your refrigerator, if it don't pay none of your bills, who cares? And as I mentioned, love yourself. People will follow your lead. Let me tell you, that's why my book is entitled Released. Yes, because I had to release myself of shame. First of all, I'm voted most likely to succeed in my family. First college student, first graduating, and here I go get on crack, go to prison, all that. But I made it back. You have to stand up with inside yourself and say, hey, you know what? I separate what I've done from who I am, and I like myself, and I'm all right. And so are you, Gerry. You're fantastic. And Kristi, so are you, and you're fine. Come on now.
Annetta Daniel's new novel, Released, is on sale right now at Amazon.com. Make sure and pick up a copy. And thanks to you, our audience, for being a part of the first episode of Still Here, Bitch. Be sure to tell your friends about us, tell your family, tell everybody. And tune in next month when we'll be back with more new guests and more new conversation. Until then, I want to leave you with this. Remember, Your uniqueness is not your curse. It is your asset. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time. Now get out and get you some joy.
Will do, baby. Good job, Gerry. You're the best. You rock.
I love it.
Thanks for tuning in to Still Here, Bitch. Remember to follow us on the socials. Please like and subscribe or get somebody to show you how. And we'll see you next time on Still Here, Bitch.